At the westernmost edge of the Saurashtra Peninsula, where the Indian subcontinent gives way to the vast expanse of the Arabian Sea, lies a place of profound resonance. Here, at the confluence of the Gomati River and the ocean, the city of Dwarka stands as a unique crossroads, a point where myth, faith, and the tangible remnants of ancient history converge. Its very location was a source of power. Sheltered by the sea, it was a natural fortress, a sanctuary with access to the great maritime trade routes that stitched the ancient world together. Ancient traditions speak of a settlement surrounded by water, a gleaming peninsula, or a cluster of islands, its defenses ordained by nature itself. The Gomati River was its lifeline, a vital artery for commerce and the daily existence of its people. For millennia, this Dwarka lived in scripture and epic poetry, described as a city of almost unbelievable splendor. Its streets were not random paths, but a meticulously planned grid. Its drainage systems were said to be a marvel of engineering, and its mighty gates and fortifications were designed not only to repel attack, but to regulate the flow of a thriving society. The city was imagined as a perfectly ordered cosmos, with distinct sectors for homes, for bustling markets, and for the halls of governance, the blueprint of a highly evolved understanding of civic life. For centuries, this was a story told, a vision held in faith. Then, the ocean began to yield its secrets. Modern marine archaeology, deploying sonar scans and daring diving expeditions, pierced the veil of the waves off the coast of modern Dwarka. What they found was astonishing: a submerged landscape of stone foundations, colossal walls, pillars, and stairways, all resting in the silent depths. For many, these are the bones of the legendary city itself, the material evidence of a narrative long thought to be intangible. While scholarly debate continues, the presence of such substantial underwater architecture points to a society of immense capability, one that possessed advanced construction methods and could execute large-scale planning in a challenging coastal environment. Artifacts recovered from the seabed, pottery shards, intricate terracotta figures, beads of semi-precious stone, and metal objects add flesh to these bones. They speak of a culturally rich and economically vibrant settlement, a hub connected to a wider world through networks of trade and exchange. But it is the chronological evidence that proves most compelling. Radiocarbon dating of artifacts and structural elements has placed portions of these submerged ruins deep within the second millennium before the Common Era. This timeline aligns, in a breathtaking convergence of science and tradition, with the epic assigned to the life of Lord Krishna. The stones beneath the sea may not settle every question, but they anchor a timeless story to a specific place and time, leaving us to contemplate the thin veil that separates history from the legends that shape it. Beneath the restless currents of the Arabian Sea, a story persists. It is a narrative woven from scripture and sonar scans, from the faith of millions and the tantalizing hints of submerged stone. Here, the disciplines of archaeology and mythology, often moving in separate orbits, find themselves drawn into a shared gravitational pull. The legend is that of Dwarka, the city of Krishna. In the grand tapestry of the Mahabharata and the Bhagavata Purana, Dwarka is born of necessity. It is a sanctuary forged by a divine king to shield his people, the Yadavas, from the relentless assaults of a vengeful adversary. Krishna, the strategist, chose a remote coastal position, a fortress guarded by the sea itself. It was a masterstroke of divine statecraft, a city deliberately placed at the edge of the world, where the ocean offered both a formidable defense and a gateway for commerce and communication. But this was to be no mere refuge. The devotional traditions speak of it as Dwarka Nagari, the city of gold. This was not simply a metaphor for wealth, but a literal description of its splendor. The scriptures paint a breathtaking picture, a metropolis of wide avenues, lush public gardens, and towering palaces plated in precious metals. Its fortifications were said to be impenetrable, its temples resonant with prayer. The city's very layout was a testament to a higher order, attributed to Vishwakarma, the celestial architect of the gods. He is said
And now comes the part no one talks about.
said to have planned its districts with divine precision, zones for homes, for markets, for civic life, a perfect blueprint for a flourishing civilization. Dwarka was the ideal made manifest, a symbol of cosmic order and righteous prosperity. Yet, its most enduring chapter is the story of its end. Tradition holds that upon Krishna's departure from the mortal world, the age of virtue concluded. The ocean, which had once protected the Golden City, rose up to reclaim it. In a single, cataclysmic event, Dwarka was swallowed by the waves, its splendor vanishing beneath the sea, marking the dawn of the Kali Yuga, the Age of Darkness. This account serves as a profound meditation on the impermanence of even the greatest material achievements, a reminder that all empires, even those built by a god, are subject to the inexorable flow of time. And yet, modern underwater explorations off the coast of the contemporary city of Dwarka have revealed submerged structures, remnants of an ancient settlement, keeping alive the tantalizing possibility that a deep cultural memory of a real historical city survived for millennia within the vessel of sacred narrative. Where the memory of one world is whispered by the ocean, the story of another is carved into the unyielding heart of a continent. Deep within the Indian state of Bihar, rising from the plains, are monolithic titans of granite. Within these ancient hills lies a mystery that defies easy explanation: the Barabar Caves. To call them caves is a misnomer. These are not the jagged, water-worn hollows of nature. They are something other. Their entrances, perfect geometric arches cut into the stone with breathtaking surviving rock-cut chambers in India, dating back to the Mauryan Empire in the 3rd century before the Common Era. Inside, the mystery deepens. The interior walls are not rough-hewn rock, but surfaces puff the hardest stone on Earth, was achieved with a level of technology that continues to baffle engineers. The chambers themselves possess an acoustic quality that is nothing short of supernatural. A single sound can hang in the air, reverberating for seconds, a ghostly echo from a forgotten age, as if the stone itself is designed to amplify the unseen. The question persists, whispered in these silent, resonant chambers. By what hands and with what lost technology was this perfection achieved? Inscriptions attribute their creation to the patronage of Emperor Ashoka for the use of Ajivika ascetics, but this only tells us who commissioned them, not how they were made. They stand as a testament to a level of skill that challenges our linear perception of history. An artifact so precise it feels anachronistic, as if dropped into the distant past from a far more advanced future. Whether submerged beneath the waves or sealed within mountains of granite, these sites are not merely ruins or relics. They are powerful points of convergence, where myth and material evidence collide, where faith and science ask the same questions. They are echoes of a world we can no longer see, reminding us that the greatest monuments are not built of gold or stone, but of the enduring, unyielding power of memory itself. In the stark, sun-scorched plains of modern-day Bihar, a cluster of monolithic granite hills rises abruptly from the earth. For centuries, they were just features of the landscape, their secrets sealed within solid rock. It was not until the early 19th century that their true nature was revealed. Hewn from the living stone are the Barabar Caves, a complex that stands as the oldest surviving example of rock-cut architecture in the vast tapestry of Indian history, their origins tracing back to the 3rd century before the Common Era. These are not natural formations, but chambers of impossible precision, commissioned by one of history's most formidable figures, Ashoka the Great. He was the emperor of the Mauryan dynasty, a ruler whose name was once synonymous with ruthless conquest. His empire was forged in the crucible of the Kalinga War, a campaign of such brutal finality that it left over 100,000 slain. The chronicles say the rivers ran red with blood. It was this vision of carnage that shattered the conqueror, birthing the philosopher king. Ashoka renounced the sword and embraced the path of Dharma, the Buddhist principle of cosmic law and order. The Barabar Caves are a direct consequence of this profound transformation. They were conceived not as palaces or tombs, but as silent, austere retreats. They were offered to the ascetics of the Ajivika sect, a contemplative order that believed in a rigid, deterministic fate. In a gesture of remarkable tolerance, the Buddhist emperor created these sanctuaries for a rival philosophical school, providing a space for those seeking to withdraw from the world and confront the nature of existence. To enter one of these caves is to step across a threshold not just of space, but of time. The immediate sensation is one of profound disbelief. The exterior rock is weathered and coarse, but the interior walls are bhoi. These stubborns are deliberately devoid of ornamentation. Their stark geometry and flawless surfaces designed to focus the mind inward, away from distraction and toward pure contemplation. Even after more than 2 millennia, the silence within is a physical presence, broken only by the extraordinary acoustics. A single whisper does not simply echo. It multiplies, reverberates, and hangs in the air for many seconds.
Stay with me, because what comes next has been hidden for a very long time, and only a few people know the truth behind it.
A resonant hum that transforms the chamber into an instrument of sound. Among these marvels, the Lomas Rishi cave stands as the most iconic. Its entrance, a magnificent horseshoe-shaped arch, is a direct architectural precursor to the great Chaitya halls that would come to define Buddhist design for the next 1,000 years. Carved above this portal is a delicate frieze of elephants paying homage to stupas, a rare flourish in this otherwise unadorned world. Inside, a vast vaulted hall stretches into the darkness, a womb of granite culminating in a separate circular chamber. The resonance within Lomas Rishi is otherworldly. Every footstep, every breath, every uttered syllable is amplified and sustained, creating an acoustic environment perfectly engineered for meditative chanting, where the human voice could merge with the very fabric of the stone. Yet, this perfection presents a profound enigma. How, in the 3rd century before the Common Era, was this accomplished? The known technology of the age was rudimentary, consisting of little more than iron chisels, hammers, and sheer human will. The granite of these hills is among the hardest stones on Earth. To carve out these vast chambers with such geometric precision, and then to polish those surfaces to a reflective sheen, seems to defy the limits of the era's capabilities. The task would have been agonizingly slow, requiring millions upon millions of precise strikes, a symphony of labor lasting for decades. Scholars have proposed theories that only deepen the mystery. Some suggest the Mauryan engineers employed advanced techniques now lost to time, perhaps using massive fires to heat the rock face before rapidly cooling it with water, causing it to crack and making it easier to chisel. Others speculate about the use of chemical abrasives or specialized tools for which no archaeological evidence has ever been found. The truth is, we do not know. The caves stand as an unnerving testament to a forgotten science, a level of mastery that challenges our modern assumptions about the technological arc of history. These chambers are more than just architectural puzzles. They are archives etched in stone. Inscriptions in the ancient Brahmi script cling to the walls, the edicts of Ashoka himself. Here, the emperor speaks across the ages, his decrees not of conquest, but of compassion, of nonviolence, of respect for all living things. The caves are a physical manifestation of his radical new policy, a kingdom governed not by fear, but by righteousness. They are a monument to the moment a man who had conquered the known world turned his attention to conquering the self. And still, the questions remain. Why this specific, isolated location? Was there a spiritual significance to these hills long before Ashoka's time? Or was their remote nature the very quality he sought for the ascetics who would dwell within? The story of the Barabar Caves is not a closed chapter of history. It is a living dialogue between the past and the present, a challenge to our understanding of what ancient civilizations could achieve. They are a silent testament to a singular moment in human consciousness when the power of an empire was marshaled not for war, but for the quiet, internal quest for enlightenment. In their resonant silence, we hear the echo of a choice made thousands of years ago. A choice to turn away from the clamor of the world and listen instead to the stillness within. The granite monoliths of Barabar are not a final destination in our quest for the past, but a gateway. A portal to a broader network of ancient secrets, some hiding in plain sight, others concealed deep beneath the surface of accepted history. These caves, it would seem, are merely the first chapter in a story far grander than we can imagine. To begin to comprehend their existence, one must first confront the sheer, brutal scale of their creation. The task was not merely to carve, but to unmake a mountain. We speak of solid granite, one of the hardest stones on Earth, being hollowed out with an impossible precision. Carving even a single one of these chambers required the removal and displacement of hundreds of tons of rock. Today, with diamond-tipped drills and controlled explosives, it would be a monumental undertaking. To contemplate its completion over 2,000 years ago, with tools presumed to be little more than bronze chisels and iron hammers, is to stand at the edge of belief. Experts, attempting to quantify this Herculean effort, have calculated that the total volume of rock excavated from the Barabar and nearby Nagarjuni Hills is staggering. The displaced mass is equivalent to that required for the construction of an entire modern skyscraper, a steel and concrete skeleton rising from the earth. Yet these are not crude hollows.
This is where things get really interesting. What you're about to hear might explain why this was never meant to be discovered.
Blasted from the rock. They are meticulously engineered cavities. Inside, the world outside falls away. The walls are erver. But the true anomaly is not what you see, but what you hear. The acoustic properties within are nothing short of astonishing. A single whisper can travel along the curved ceiling, arriving at the other side of the chamber with perfect clarity. A single uttered word echoes, not once or twice, but for several seconds. A lingering, ethereal resonance that seems to hang in the very air. This raises a profound question, one that challenges the simple explanation of monastic retreat. Were these caves truly intended for silent meditation, or for something far more complex? If we step outside the narrow confines of traditional archaeology, a number of unconventional, yet compelling, theories begin to emerge. One of the most powerful is the possibility that these were not simply religious sanctuaries, but sophisticated laboratories for ancient experiments with sound and resonance. In the ancient world, sound was not mere vibration. It was a fundamental force of creation, a tool for healing, for communication, and perhaps even for levitation and construction. Could the Barabar Caves have been designed as immense acoustic instruments, precisely tuned to amplify certain frequencies? Perhaps to induce altered states of consciousness, to unlock the hidden potential of the human mind. Some researchers propose that the unique sonic dynamics were no accident, but the result of an advanced, almost forgotten knowledge of acoustics. This acoustic mastery is not an isolated phenomenon. Thousands of miles away, buried deep beneath the island of Malta, the hypogeum of Hal Saflieni whispers a similar story. There, in its subterranean chambers, low-frequency sounds resonate with a powerful, almost physical force, affecting the human body and mind in ways we are only now beginning to understand. The similarities are too striking to ignore. Are these synchronous echoes of a single, global understanding? A lost science of harmonics that allowed disparate cultures to manipulate their environments for spiritual or scientific purposes? But an even more provocative idea pulls us from the realm of the spiritual into the crucible of ancient industry. Theorists have speculated that these caves were not retreats at all, but part of a network of sites dedicated to early technological experiments, perhaps in metallurgy or even energy generation. Ancient India was the cradle of extraordinary metallurgical advances, most famously with the creation of Wootz steel. This high-carbon alloy, later known to the West as Damascus steel, was a material of legend, capable of holding an edge of unparalleled sharpness. The process of its creation was a closely guarded secret. Could it be that the Barabar region, naturally rich in iron ore, was a center for this lost art? Perhaps the immense, polished chambers were not for chanting, but were industrial resonators, forges of a kind we no longer recognize. The mystery of Barabar thus deepens with every question. Each theory, from sonic healing to advanced metallurgy,
This is where things get really interesting. What you're about to hear might explain why this was never meant to be discovered.
forces us to reconsider the capabilities of our ancestors. These caves stand as a silent, monolithic challenge to our linear perception of history. They suggest that the past was not a simpler time, but perhaps just a different one, with a science and a wisdom that we have tragically forgotten. The greatest secret of Barabar may not be what was carved from the stone, but the assumptions about our own history that must be carved away to truly understand it. Within the silent, polished interiors of these granite hills, another purpose may have been served. Beyond a sanctuary for the soul, this could have been a hidden laboratory, a crucible where ancient metallurgists conducted their arcane experiments. Here, in the resonant darkness, they may have perfected the production of alloys, perhaps even harnessing the astonishing acoustic properties of the chambers for processes we no longer understand. The caves amplify the faintest whisper, transforming sound into a physical, vibrating force. Was this a tool, a catalyst for some forgotten technology? The enigma deepens when we consider the patrons of this monumental undertaking, the Ajavikas. A religious sect known for their doctrine of absolute fatalism, they practiced a severe and uncompromising asceticism. They were mendicants who renounced all material wealth, all worldly possessions, believing the path of every soul was preordained and unalterable. Why then would a people so detached from the material world commission such massive, intricately engineered caves? This colossal expenditure of effort and resources seems to stand in stark opposition to their core philosophy. It is a paradox carved in stone. Could it be that the caves served a dual purpose, one that reconciled the spiritual with the scientific? Some researchers now propose a radical theory that these chambers were a meeting ground, a place where spiritual masters and the earliest scientists of the subcontinent could exchange ideas. Here, the lines may have blurred between religious meditation and empirical experimentation, between the contemplation of the cosmos and the investigation of its physical laws. This hypothesis gains traction when we cast our gaze across the ancient Indian landscape. In the eastern state of Odisha, the Udayagiri and Kandagiri caves were carved around the same period as Barabar during the 3rd century before the Common Era. While these complexes served primarily as monastic retreats for Jain monks, their designs are remarkably sophisticated. They feature tiered halls, elaborate carvings, and complex passageways that hint at a purpose beyond simple devotion. They speak a similar architectural language, suggesting these sites were not isolated phenomena, but perhaps nodes in a larger, interconnected network of spiritual and intellectual centers stretching across the subcontinent. A growing belief suggests these cave complexes were the work of a highly advanced civilization, one whose knowledge extended far beyond the spiritual, deep into the realms of geometry, acoustics, and structural engineering. Looking westward, to the volcanic rock of Maharashtra, the comparisons become even more profound. The cave complexes of Ajanta and Ellora, while sharing the medium of stone, express a dimples, including the breathtaking Kailasa temple, a structure not built, but liberated from a single monolithic piece of rock. What connects these disparate sites is the sheer, almost incomprehensible scale of the excavation. While Barabar focuses on intimate precision and acoustic purity, Ellora and Ajanta showcase the zenith of rock-cut architecture, a testament to raw power and intricate artistry. The fact that these traditions flourished concurrently raises fundamental questions. Were they all part of a grander, pan-Indian school of engineering that seamlessly blended religious fervor with a profound scientific understanding of the natural world? Could the same esoteric knowledge have flowed between these centers, each site fulfilling a different role in the complex tapestry of ancient spiritual, technological, and social life? The echoes of this tradition resonate even further. Half a world away, in the rose-red desert canyons of Jordan, the ancient Nabatean city of Petra shares Reqasim far ahead of their time. These silent monuments, from the hills of Bihar to the deserts of Arabia, ask the same fundamental questions. They are not merely relics of faith, but enduring expressions of a deep human impulse to shape the very earth, to create meaning from stone. They stand as a challenge to our modern assumptions, suggesting that the division between science and spirituality is a recent invention, and that our ancestors may have possessed a more holistic wisdom, a language of existence that we are only now beginning to relearn how to read. In the canyons of Jordan, a rose-red city carved from living rock displays its intricate facades. Thousands of miles away, in the granite hills of India, the Barabar Caves offer a stark contrast: interiors. On the surface, they are worlds apart. Yet both Petra and Barabar were born from an astonishing command of stonework and engineering prowess that defies their eras. Orthodox history views these achievements as isolated phenomena, the coincidental pinnacles of separate cultures. But the evidence on the ground suggests a more complex narrative. Was this truly the result of independent invention, or are these sites the faint echoes of a forgotten global network, a time when esoteric knowledge was shared across vast and unforgiving distances? The mystery deepens when we consider not just the how, but the where. The Barabar Caves were hewn near Gaya, a place of immense spiritual gravity, the very land where the Buddha is said to have attained enlightenment. The region is a pilgrimage map of sacred temples and ancient caves. It begs the question, was the choice of location merely practical, or did these master builders perceive something more? A subtle energy in the earth, a unique resonance that made this specific granite hillside the only place their work could truly be realized. The answers, it seems, may not be written in the stone, but in the silent landscape from which it was born.
Most people stop watching right here. But if you continue, you'll discover something almost no one knows.